show. It was a lot better than last year. A lot more organized. So it was great. So comparatively.
So Paul's talking about MWAVE. He went and got some other folks from the Daily HiFi crew over there. It's fun seeing you guys all together. I'm scared to hear,
You'll have to
crazy
talk
you
to
guys were
Rich in the after show about how crazy it got, because he's
Look at
his quote is, "I didn't know there was so many beers."
well, I can already tell by your smile. I don't even have to ask. I can look at your smile and I can tell.
Yeah,
So,
you
okay.
can tell. Yeah.
So what happened over here? What were some cool things, some highlights for you from the event?
There were a lot of highlights. A lot of it was obviously seeing some of the gear, like the swans, the Ascendo swans were cool. And you know me, I forget my name if it, wasn't on my license. But the stereo integrity room was cool, but they kept popping the breaker every time some good hard bass notes would hit. So that didn't work out. So, but then there was JTR, that's, what to expect with that. I mean, that's, really all the dynamic range you can shake a stick at, and loud as all get out, And then, of course, it was a treat for everyone to get to experience and hear the Gramani room. Everybody loved that, it was Gramani. So I don't think anybody was willing to say anything bad about it. There was one person that was doing the talk in the room that actually Don posted a video on, and he was kind of like me. I was like, it was a little too loud for me. That I think that was after going in there a couple times. I think that a lot of that was the content. Some of the movies are just played like the Spider-Man, the second time in the second row was like 83 dB right on the nose. But Unbroken was still like 91 dB. So that's like, to me, that's just, it doesn't matter how awesome your speaker is. That's still piercing my ears. That's hurting. For me.
Did you learn about anything did you learn anything new? Like, sometimes you'll go in there and you may have some preconceived notions about, a giant subwoofer, oh, that's silly. But then you hear it, you're like, oh, okay. There's a different perspective. Was there any of that sort of thing? Like, oh, that's different than what I expected.
No, not really. I mean, not for me.
You knew what to expect. No surprise.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I told one of my friends, I was like, when I got out of car audio, 180 dB was the max. Nobody's pushing that in their home theater that I've experienced. So we're not even, Scott Newby's the closest you get, but you've experienced 20 dB hotter, or or 25. That's still way more. It's still very impressive in a home. And these systems are kind of that way. You got to keep in mind, these are very large spaces, and they were, they were filling them up with some powerful bass. But that also has a lot of volume.
Waveforming. What did you think about that? Like Trinov's waveforming. Was there some was it super clean bass?
I'm one of the outliers, as always. The Gramani room, it sounded really clear. Spider-Man, Unbroken, I just couldn't. It was just too loud for me, so I couldn't analyze in that. That's just too much for me. You know what I mean? It's like you can't pay attention. Yeah. But that's not to say that it was bad, because everyone else loved it. But I don't know if that's them, fluffing Gramani or what.
Or just being your moderator, Paul,
or me hating on it, one or the other, right? Wow. But no, Gramani, the guy, he's really cool, right? I was talking to him about that. Anthony Gramani.
Oh, you mean Germani?
Germani, yeah.
Yeah, whoever misspelled your video.
Anthony Gramani?
Yeah, something like that.
We're joking.
Some people know him, yeah.
But a lot of people misspell the name. It's like, And Aaron's like,
Oh,
spell his name right.
I'm like, I can't even try. So I'm like, AG. I'm just gonna call him
Yeah.
AG. The AG
AG,
guy.
is that his new
The
name?
audio guy. AG.
Audio guy. Oh, that's gonna be.
AG.
I'm gonna call him AG.
Yeah, but yeah, he was really cool. I mean, he is a cool guy, and he was like, "Oh man, you guys were doing beers. I drink beers." I was like, "Well, you were so busy because people were just." It was like a celebrity there. Everybody was going up there asking him questions. Everybody, that was the one room that there was always a line all the way until they shut down. There was a line in that room, so that was pretty interesting. I personally, I liked Arvolution was there, which that was pretty cool. Raphael was there. He's a really good guy. Seymour was there. Evans with Seymour, and Evans just the coolest dude. Like if there's ever a guy you want to drink with, that's the guy you're going to party with. He's cool as it gets. And then we went to I forgot the guy's name. It might have been Todd. Todd was with Ascendo. I like that room the best. That was, for me, audio-wise, best experience for me. Best audio, best clarity, best just overall, no boosted bass. It was just good all around.
Is that the one with the huge sub or what?
They had I don't know, a wall of 16s, and they were using Durac, whatever that's worth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
they had all, yeah, I know, right? They weren't even using Yamahas. They were using some, fancy, silly Trinoff thing, But they had, so that was really, really cool. But then the JVC guy, I cannot remember his name, but I was talking shit about his JVC because I was like, God, that thing's noisy as shit. I was like, there's no way that thing is going in a room. And he was like, no, that's the server. And I was like, are you sure? I went into another room and someone said, oh, that's a JVC too. And it was really fan noise, but it wasn't. The other room had one of the commercial Christie's in it. So of course those are loud. You're not going to put that in a room. So I ended up going in there. He was like, yeah, go in there and have him turn the server off. And I was like, all right, I'm doing it, damn it. So I went in there and sure enough, we turned the server off. And I got right up on that thing. And it's quiet. Like that 900.
Really? It was a server.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. It really was the server. Because me, okay. I'm like, all right, everybody's gonna say shit, but let's prove it. It's like, and he was like, no, go in there, tell him. And I was like, and I even was like, okay, the screen's in black mode, it's just blank. So it's like, turn that on full white. I want to see is the fan, because projectors are so intelligent, they can we're just showing a blank screen. So fan, we're not having to project anything. So fan at the lowest noise. And I thought, okay, can you turn it in a full white screen? And they did. They turned the screen to full brightness, and the fan just stayed quiet. And you could feel the fan kick on. Like you could feel it blowing, but it was quiet. I was like, okay, that's legit.
You're the best type of customer because you're the ones you're like real skeptical. But if you do the things and you prove that it works, you'll also be the one that'll tell other people like, no, this thing really was quiet.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm like, oh, come on now, but I was like, man, are you sure? Because man, that server has it must have 2 different fans because you could clearly hear 2 different frequencies of the fans. Either that or they're going out or bad different times, because I was like, no, you can clearly hear 2 different tones in those fans, so that's got to be something else. But no, it was the server. So
did anybody come up to you and say, hey, are you Crowson? Are you
the
yeah, not really, but yeah, a couple of people were like, oh yeah, I like you giving Don crap for not finishing his theater, which that's still going to continue. It's funny because Anthony Gramani can build a whole theater in 2 hours, and Don's been 2 years. So
horrible. That's horrible.
Now, if you can't catch the show, we do have an audio version at anchor.fm/daily HiFi. So make sure to go on over there if you like to listen to the show.